Okay, these are the antique class, or category if you will, both in the short and the long guns that we're going to do. They'll be out of order in that we'll do the shorts first and then the long guns. And again, the idea is to let you see not so much the close-up pictures, that's what the actual still photos are for, but to see the mechanics of it and how well they open or lock. It's a nice little piece. The hammer is locking up quite nicely. Locks, unlocks. That's a decent little piece. On the national arms, we'll just skim through these. 222, there's two of these. I think this is the more solid one. Yeah, this one index is really nice. And again, not to show necessarily the picture, but look at that picture. That's very nice. Indexing. I'll let you listen. Really good and solid. Consistent, and the lockup is better than average, better than respectable. It's excellent. So that's a good buy. This one, not as good. You can't even cycle it. So this one needs a little bit of work, which is awesome. Just to put your gunsmithing skills to work, or maybe you got a guy. So other than that, we'll just leave that one. On the pepper box, unlocks and locks. Beautiful patina. I think that is an unmolested patina. Locks up pretty tight. If you had some cartridges in there, that would be a real nice snug fit. And it unlocks really nicely. I'll watch the indexing of the hammer as I do each of those. So that's 8 rotations, and every single time that hammer index or the firing pin indexed. So, and again, it stayed locked up. The Volcanic 226. I'd love to drop the hammer on this down the range for you, but we're not going to, obviously. It's mostly because I don't have any ammo. Cycle's very nice. They always seem a little bit loose in the trigger, to be honest with you. You know, they seem like the spring is always a little bit loose, but they seem all like that, so I don't know if that's anything to be concerned about. I'm certainly not concerned about it. Engages nicely, stays in place. Once it's there, normal amount of looseness, for lack of a better term. Hammer engages and locks every time. Nice positive ejection. Nice representation. Nice representation. I'm excited to see how that one does. 227 on the Big Dragoon. This one does not index consistently, if I'm not mistaken. Let's just go through it. Gonna make a liar out of me. No, there we go. So it didn't engage there, didn't index there. Give it a little help, and away we go. So a little bit of work needs to be done there. Obviously the mechanics are in place. It's just the pin's a little bit worn, and so we can deal with that. So that opens, locks, stays in place there. Once it is locked up and engaged, lockup is not too bad. You know, to be expected. It's not a brand new piece, so I think that I don't think there's any surprises on that one. On the little root, I believe this one engages each time. We'll do that, and then I'll show you the ramrod. Nice sturdy spring in it too, not gonna lie to you. It's very consistent there. And the rod comes down, locks into place. Nice positive lock on that one. So I think you can, and then you can see once it is indexed and locked up, the cylinder is really quite snug. So be proud of that one. 229, another little root. This one has arguably a little better finish than the last one. Let's see how, I mean, there's still no bluing left, but the other one, you know what? I think it's 6s. The other one has a bit more of a brown tone. This one's more of a white metal tone. Indexing is going along nicely. Let's check out. It's a little bit looser in the lockup. The cylinder once it is locked, but consistently cycling. Ramrod comes down, moves nice and smoothly, stays up in place. It's not rattling down. So a nice representation there. On the little third model Derringer, this is in 41. This is fun. I wish we had some ammo for this one. Nice big hole down the middle of it. Most of these you get are in the much smaller calibers, so this would be a fun one to play with. If you could find some ammo, 41 rimfire. Let's see how the hammer goes. You can hear, I hope you can hear, that you get that nice solid lockup. So, and you know, and that barrel is quite locked up to the frame. It's a nice representation there. 231 on the new line. Plated. Most of the plating is intact on this. Again, we're not here to talk about the plating. I don't think that's the right cover. I think that's a replacement cover on there. That little dime-shaped cover. I think that might be a replacement. You'll be able to tell by the shape of it. Let's check the engagement though. The hammer spring feels very nice. It's sturdy. It's putting up a fight. It's indexing consistently. So other than that cover, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think that one might be a replaced cover. But nice mechanically, that one really seems nice. Okay, 1849 pocket in percussion still. Most of the engraving is gone. Still there, you can still tell it was there. It is indexing so far consistently. Hammer spring feels nice, and the trigger is, obviously I'm not going to just drop it, but feels very nice. Ramrod is locked in place, it unlocks nicely. Cycles all the way through, if I get that lined up properly. Locks in place again, so we're good with that for sure, and mechanically you can feel that it is staying together and there's nothing loose about it. So we're good with that one mechanically. I mean, for what it is, for its age and so on. On the 1862, a little bit loose in the ramrod. You see it just fell when I picked it up. I think I probably nudged it. I would call that loose, but certainly no more loose than most of them you see. Not cycling. Let's see if we help it through one, if it'll do it afterwards. Not cycling. Let's see what happens. So far, no cycling at all. Hammer, spring feels nice, trigger feels nice, so that part is there, but it is not actually indexing the cylinder. So a little bit of work needs to be done on that one. I think the bones are there, you just need to do a little bit of work to it. On the 1860, check the cylinder indexing first, just to have a little bit of consistency. I think you can hear that it is a very solid engagement. Let's see how it snug fit. You can see the index once it's locked in place. I would consider that to be certainly above average. And I did not miss a beat as far as cycling goes, and the trigger feels nice. Ramrod comes down, it's not too sloppy, locks into place. Ever so slight looseness in the frame there to the barrel, but no more than usual. So again, other than that, the description in your pictures is going to paint you the picture you need there. 235 on the Navy. This box that you're seeing here will be added to the description and photo index or gallery. It's not a factory box by any means, but I believe it was with this firearm in the home, just by the markings on it and what fits it. So we'll add that to it. In any case, let's do the indexing. Get sidetracked there. Nice brown patina on it. Pretty positive lockup. Certainly positive hammer engagement and trigger. So very pleased with that. Ramrod unlocked, comes down, not too loose, locks in place. Nice solid piece, nice solid piece. And like I said, we'll add that box, not a factory box. This one here, it won't be romantic when I show you it opening, little French single shot piece. This is for if you need to do something in a different county. And on the pinfire, so the button that disengages or unlocks is a pretty crude little mechanism there. And if you try to push that with your thumb, you end up with a hole in your thumb. So I'm just going to be a little less than graceful with it here. push on the side there, open it up, and so it's a pin fire. It clearly was pitted and then polished up and whatnot. But it's a fun conversation piece, and I mean, it certainly locks into place when you consider how much it takes to unlock it. So I don't think we'll get too involved in this one. Sort of what you see is what you get. 236. Now there is a boxed piece. Take a look at that. It's got all kinds of little attachments to go along, or accessories to go along with it, and in a proper fitted box with impressive condition inside the box. So the photographs will tell you that. And the revolver itself, very tight, if you will. It's very tight indexing. I'm just going to shut up so you can hear it. Not missing a beat. Lock up. I mean, that cylinder is locked up as like it was a brand new revolver. Very impressive. Ramrod is a good positive lock on it. Unlock it. You know, there's even resistance yet as you're flowing it through the opening there. It's got a nice fit to it still, and it locks in place. Really nice piece. I don't know if it's a good selling thing to shake it. That's my new thing. 237 on the Pocket Navy conversion, and beautiful patina on that one. We'll start with the huge. Consistent indexing, and it's a nice snug fit. Hammer trigger, or the spring feels really nice and heavy. Trigger feels nice. Again, I'm not going to drop it down on you. And the poor new owner would have a conniption. But a nice conversion on that one, so I think you could buy that one with a great deal of confidence. On the Thunderer, I think we have a couple of these. Yeah, we got a shorter one coming up. This one is in 41 long Colt. So let's just start off with some indexing. Not perfect. I can tell it's putting up a bit of a fight. That was a single action that I did there, and it did not index. And now it's locked up. So a little bit of something going on inside this one. You know, it wants to work, but there's something going on in there, and that happens both when you try to cock it and when you try to do a double action. There's something going on inside there. So, you know, I'm sure we described it that way. I don't think that there's any new information coming out, but this way you get to see more what we're talking about. On the Frontier, Colt Frontier, not here to talk about patina, but it is a nice patina. I believe this one indexes nicely. I'll shut up for a sec. Oops, that was graceful. Consistent indexing. Once it is indexed, it's not the snuggest of lockup. I don't think I've ever seen one that is. But it is consistent. So, but these have they don't have a nice pin in the cylinder like many revolvers. They're on the back of the cylinder. So maybe that's just a bit of a design thing. Who knows? Injection rod is good. The locks up front there. So decent piece, better than decent piece on that one. And I hope these little videos are doing you some good. And on 78, this is a little short-barreled Thunderer. Plated, a lot of the plating still visible in little harder to wear off areas. That did not index twice there. I'll give it a little help and see what happens. Not very graceful of me, is it? Help it along there. So a little inconsistency. I don't remember this one being like that, so I will double check the description of what we've written. There's so many pieces I can't necessarily remember. It's trying to, and once it's locked up, the lockup is pretty decent, but it's trying to engage and it's just not quite. So, but otherwise we got the hammer trigger, the hammer spring and the trigger felt nice. Gate locks in place, feels really good, but we do have some indexing concerns there. So we'll revisit the description on that one just in case. 605 on the new line, plated. This one has ivory grips on it, genuine elephant ivory, so it cannot be shipped out of Canada. I don't know if this type of piece can be exported anyway, but just so that you know, just for the grips alone, 30 caliber, it cannot be. Really good engagement though, listen. Yeah, solid engagement, and the cylinder, once it's locked up, is really solid. And trying not to do it with dropping the hammer, but that's a really solid cylinder lockup. So definitely buy that one with pride, but keeping in mind it does have ivory. And I'm sure you're not opposed to that, but it definitely cannot be shipped out. 606, this is another conversion, and let's do the indexing. Very good. Ever so loose, but definitely better than most. And consistent. And the hammer and the trigger, if there was something as I was pulling it and releasing it, if there was anything to mention, I certainly would have mentioned it. So it feels very, very positive in both respects there. 606 was that one. 607, start at the beginning. Very positive engagement of the hammer and the trigger, indexed consistently each time there, and the lockup is again, I say pretty good, but I would actually say better than pretty good. Rod falls down freely. It's not loose, you know, but it does fall down freely, and it locks into place. Pretty good. Frame to barrel is a snug fit. Now there is a screw missing. There's some stuff in the description that we talked about that I can't remember off the top of my head. And then it also talks about the fact that there's a little extra bag of goodies. Not 100% sure if they're related to the piece. They came in like that, and we just sort of left it like that. 608 on the pepper box. And we'll do the indexing on this one too, just because of the but if you put it on half cock, you can get that opened nicely. Locks in place nicely. Let's check the hammer, because I think these next two are sort of consistent in their, or inconsistent in their indexing of the hammer. So that one moved, didn't move, didn't move, moved, didn't move, moved. So I don't think it would take very much to tweak that so that it is a bit more reliable. The lock and the unlock, let's just go to half cock there. Lock and unlock again is as expected. You can see the movement there on the lock where it's cleaned away. So I do like that one. Let's try the next one on the little Sharps pepper box. More pitting on this one. Probably got cleaned up at one time too. It's a little bit more loose. I was going to say, yeah, looser than the other one, but it does unlock and it does lock. So we're good there. Let's do some cycling of the hammer. It does lock in each position, as did the other one. And that is right now indexing the pin. That's 5. Oh, that one did not index. 6, it did. 7. So it missed 1 out of 8, 1 out of 9, 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10 now. So 2 out of 11, it missed. So not horrible, and again, just needs a little bit of tweaking. It's not brand new, but I do think that that's a nice representation as well mechanically. It won't take very much to get that tweaked up there. On to the long guns. I think this video is probably getting a little bit long, and I know they're dry, but we're just trying to do the best we can for you. Lot number 25. This is a French flintlock, and everything is very solid on this piece. This one does not have a lot of miles, and the patina is absolutely wonderful. And then you got this, I'm assuming a wind gate there, and everything is just positive. I'm going to move this flint over because it's a little bit loose, and you can see somebody's dropped it, and it actually hit the flat of the octagonal barrel there. But talk about positive engagement on absolutely everything. So definitely take that one with pride. We're not going to get into the description of it all. That's all part of the photographs and so on. But again, good positive ramrod stays in place and whatnot. So Now look at your photos for the rest of it, but mechanically, good and solid. This one was clearly polished off. I'm going to guess it had a whole bunch of barn rust on it, but mechanically, everything still feels good lockup, good disengagement. You know, everything just feels good and crisp and in place. The sight flips up, locks in place. Slider probably a scooch loose, and then, you know, so good mechanically. It feels like it really has all of its parts and pieces going on there. This one's refinished. You know, I wish I was a fly on the wall. I don't know all the details, but look at the photos to see that the markings are still very crisp. I don't think that these are available in a reproduction as far as parts go. But you know, if this was re-blued, which I presume it has been, it certainly didn't have to get a whole bunch of polishing to get it ready for that. And I encourage your feedback on that. But some of the things to talk about is, I was going to say it doesn't engage. Okay, so it doesn't always. In fact, I think it most of the time does not. And really, it even feels a little bit tight, loose, tight, loose. It locks up. It wants to move it. You see how it tried to move it there? Let's get it locked into another position. In any case, you need to address the mechanism in here. Clearly, it's been redone. And if anybody has an opinion as to reproduction parts or whatever, then I certainly encourage you to share that. You know, because everything looks just a little too nice. The ring here, see on this rod here, this middle ring is not attached. So I'm not going to say it's included, it's there, but it's not attached. But it certainly is a beautiful piece. It's a rare piece, and it's beautiful to hang on the wall. And I think the fact that somebody's done most of the work for you to dot the I's on it would not be the end of the world. That was 81, I believe. Lot number 82, the side hammer 56 percussion. This one, more original. I think every time I've picked it up and indexed, it has been consistent. So it has not missed a beat in that respect. And you can see that the lockup is pretty good. 3-position sights. They flop a little bit, you know, so if you took a shot, it would fall down. They're fine though. There's nothing to be embarrassed about there. And ramrod. Not too loose, does fall, but it's not flopping, and it's locked into position there. So I think that this is a really nice representation. It's got the saddle ring on there. See if it makes a liar out of me. Still indexing each time. So I do like that. I'm very smitten. I don't think I've said smitten in this grouping yet, so I'm smitten with that one. This one again, I assume, and I encourage, that's one beauty of having the real viewing, now that we know we're having an actual in the building viewing, is the amount of knowledge that comes in the building. The buyer base has got so much history and experience with these pieces that it's nice to listen to what they have to say. I know that we're going to have to give everybody sort of the bum's rush on this one because of social distancing, get everybody out of the building, but it is still going to be nice to get some feedback on some of these more rare pieces. So we are indexing. This is lot number 83. I didn't say that out loud. Has not missed a beat. It definitely has been polished. And then when it is locked, pretty decent little lockup. Better than you would expect, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that this was a pitted or rusted. It got polished all to heck. There would have been more verbiage. I can see just a little tiny bit of name and scroll work there. I don't see anything on the top, and it's just been polished away. So it probably had a surface rust on it and got cleaned up. This is obviously added. You know, it's okay, but it's a little bit crude. And then there's this mother of pearl piece on the other side. I think that it's still definitely a good representation, an excellent representation, because I mean, how often do you see them, right? You just don't see them that often, so to get them at all, You're not going to get them too often, not in our part of the world where they're in much better condition than that one. So you did hear that one go mechanically. Of course, one of the creams of the sale on the Henry. And I know that there's lots of pictures on the website of it, so really this is just for you to see see and hear the mechanics of it. Lever doesn't flop. Give it a bit of a shake there. Obviously I'm not going to drop the hammer, but it feels very normal. They always have that sort of that little bit weaker hammer fall to them. The sight doesn't lock up in a positive position. A little bit loose there. Again, nothing that is unusual for the piece. Have I had that all the way up there? I'm sure I have had it all the way up there. Now's the time to find out, right, when I'm on camera. Oop. There we go. Nicely in place there, not loose or floppy. And away we go. Spring comes all the way back by itself. It's not flopping down. And so again, how often, if ever, do you get an opportunity to have a Henry and then right beside it, a 66. Nice full wood. Again, let's get into holding in place, holding in place. You can hear the rod rattling in the back there. The sight comes up. I wouldn't say it's a positive lock, but nor would you expect it to be really. And stays in place there. Not a whole lot we can show you because it's really just about showing you the mechanics. I'm not going to ramble on about it a whole lot. It's just when do you get a Henry and a 66 beside each other in a sale in our neck of the woods? Not every day. 201. Again, awesome patina. Little Snyder Enfield, full wood. It's got the ramrod up there. I remember this being positive engagement as well. Firing pin there. Half cock locks, full cock, falls nicely. Nice engagement on the sights. Locks in place, it's not flopping around in there. So again, you can buy that one with confidence. Got the ramrod, stays in place, not flopping out of there. Very firm. So again, 203. I'm hoping that just sort of by the feel of it, you can get a little sense of, or the sound of it, you can get a sense of what I'm feeling, I'm hoping. This back pin is a nail. That's in the description, so that's actually just a bent over nail, so it probably belonged to a carpenter. Maybe it was Jesus's gun. And but mechanically, it feels very nice. And as you heard that going along there. And we'll just give it that one trigger pull. Ramrod's firm in place there, so I think that one paints all the picture you need on that. I'm assuming the wood's been redone on this one. I'm not sure how we described it. I could be wrong. A nice patina on it though. Half cock, full cock. Trigger release nice. Unlocks. There's a firing pin. Locks. Nice piece. Sights. Positive engagement. Elevation is in place, not floppy. Yeah, I think that mechanically, I hope that painted a nice clear picture because it does sounds and feels very nice that way. This one here, octagonal barrel, 3-position flip-ups, and they stay in place. You know, you have to be positive with your engagement and disengagement of the 3-position rear sight. You can feel that. nice and solid. It's in place there. Hammer and trigger function feels very nice. The only thing mechanically that I would point out on this one is that you're missing the front sling ring there. So you'd have to get your milling machine out and get handy with it. Mechanically, that one feels very nice. We just have 4 more here in the antique class. We might even have them in the room by themselves somewhere so that they're a little easier to get at. On the sharps, saddle ring on the side, half cock, full cock. Trigger releases nicely. You know, solid, it's not floppy. Solid, not floppy. Hope I'm not kidding myself that makes sense to you on the camera. Positive engagement on the sight. You can hear it, you can see it, doesn't rattle. Very nice on that one as well. So nothing to really show on the other side that the pictures aren't going to show you. And so again, buy that one mechanically with confidence. And another one looks a bit more original, a little less polishing on it. And we'll do the mechanics again. Half cock, full cock, feels good. Trigger release good. I know that doesn't tell you everything you need to know, but I can't tell you everything you need to know. That's why you need to fly in if you're from out of town and come to the viewing. I hear flights are easy to get. Sight is positive. Maybe not as positive going down, but this is a nice piece. Unless it's not supposed to necessarily. I'm just trying to paint a picture as if you were handling it yourself. What would your experience be? That's all I'm really trying to do. And it definitely feels positive. Everything feels positive. A couple more to show you. This one here's got a bit more miles on it. And this is a Remington. A little more loose, and I'm not sure why. I think we have, see, the trigger is not actually locking. We will double check our description on that to make sure that, you know, I don't remember that being in the description. Doesn't mean it isn't, just because I don't remember. Some of these were cataloged months ago. So the spring for the trigger is not positive, so it doesn't necessarily lock it properly, the hammer back. But once it is back, we're good. And this is a little loose. I'd like to see that a bit more positive lockup. You can see that that's a bit of a problem there. So it's a little bit more, well, like I did say at the very first words, a few more miles on this one. Good looking patina. It looks mostly unmolested, which is nice when you're buying something more to look at. And then of course it gives you a little bit of your gunsmithing experience to get in there and tweak that one. When you consider how many antiques we had, there's not very many that need tweaking. This one here was brought in by a client. Belonged to her husband. It's marked M. Burns on the top. The little tag on here says M. Burns was a pioneer Canadian gunmaker. And if somebody has some information about that, because we really didn't find very much, and she didn't really have a lot of information either. So if anybody has any information to impart and wants to share, then we want to hear it. And her husband did pay a little dear for it, we're led to believe, but I mean both the hammers don't match each other. And it's got lots of character, there's no denying that. But some parts of it are a little bit on the crude side too with some of the fitment. But the M. Burns part I think is the one that makes it the most interesting. This is more about what you see is what you get sort of a piece. And maybe the conversation aspect about it, or the having a little bit of fun researching the history. And so it is, just bear with me, it's not, we don't have the actual calibers on here. The right side is rifled, the left side is looks like a 16 gauge. We'll see if we can update that. I think we were having trouble confirming, and sometimes it's better off to stay a little bit stump about it if you don't know 100% what it is as far as that rifled caliber. So this is a Cape gun. It probably won't get updated, I'm not gonna lie to you. Anyhow, that was a bit of a long, dried out, windy thing. We're gonna keep the antique setting together, so that if you are coming to the live viewing, you'll be able to see all the shorts and the longs, if they're antiques, in one sort of area. And we're gonna do some other things to help spread out the in-house viewing clientele, even though these videos are designed for people that are not coming into the building. We haven't done any long gun videos yet, we're still hoping to do some. So let me shut up and we'll move on.